On the morning of March 25th, 2023, a 911 call came in from Lowndes County, Mississippi, reporting a murder unfolding on Facebook Live.
What is the conversation?
Oh man, that's what I'm finna do. I'm finna get out. I ain't really trying to argue anyway. I'm just trying to get my...
No, you want to go tell your family about this, about that. You want to do this.
I'm trying to leave from over here in peace, man. I ain't trying to argue at all.
Ain't nobody. I'm going to take my car key off.
Got my key.
Stop. What is the conversation? No, what's the conversation? What's the conversation?
Keep your hands on.
What's the conversation?
Keep your hands on. Don't touch me, bro.
What's the conversation?
Move, bro. I'm trying to get ready for work, man. Go.
How you getting ready for work? What is going on? That's all I'm here. I'm over here doing. Talking about I don't do nothing for the kids. I don't do nothing. I do what I can when I can.
Understand.
But like I said, don't keep putting me in situations that's not my problem. And then, like I said, this is your family. You supposed to be here. Helping take care of these kids. No, you're not good because you're not here taking care of these kids. He wanna go call everybody.
Keep your hands on me, bro. Don't touch me again.
Touch you.
Jason, sit there over here. We'll make it easy. Sit there over here. I'm gonna do it just like this. Sit there over here.
Ain't nobody finna come over here and do nothing.
Get your hands on me, bro. Stop touching me. Move.
Please to stop.
Sit there over here, Jason.
By the time officers arrived at the scene, it was already too late. Inside the apartment, they found 28-year-old Jeremy Brown, a devoted husband and father of 4, dead. The live stream had shown the horrifying final moments of a heated domestic argument. His angry wife, Khadijah Brown, triggered by a disturbing discovery, was seen yelling into her phone with her own mother's voice pushing her on in the background. Jeremy tried to defuse the situation, but the chaos escalated, and then the screen went black. But as investigators began digging deeper, it became clear that not everything about that morning added up, and what initially looked like a spontaneous act of violence may have been hiding something much darker. This is the life and death of Jeremy Brown.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Natural, beautiful, beautiful. Let me tell y'all something that y'all don't know.
Jeremy Brown was born on October 18, 1994, in the heart of Mississippi. He grew up in a deeply rooted Southern family that believed in hard work, humility, and showing up for each other. His childhood home was always full of siblings, cousins, and neighbors coming and going, but there was never a shortage of warmth. Jeremy was the second of 4 children, raised by a mother who worked 2 jobs and a father who always made time to coach Little League or fix a neighbor's car. Family always came first. Even as a boy, Jeremy carried a presence that stood out. He had this calm, steady energy about him that made people feel safe. He was soft-spoken, never one to be the loudest in the room, but when he did speak, people listened. He wasn't just liked, he was respected. Teachers, coaches, and even the older kids in the neighborhood saw him as someone who had his head on straight. His younger siblings looked up to him as the rock of the family, the one who kept things together when life got messy. By the time he hit his teens, Jeremy had carved out a reputation as the good kid, the kind who'd walk a friend home after dark, give up his seat for someone's grandma at church, and mow an elderly neighbor's lawn without ever being asked. He was deeply compassionate, with a heart too big for his chest. His friends used to joke that Jeremy was wise beyond his years, and it wasn't far from the truth. Even as a teenager, he seemed to understand things about life, about patience, forgiveness, loyalty that most people take decades to learn. Jeremy attended Jefferson High School, where he was a solid student and a dependable friend. He didn't chase popularity, but it found him anyway. He was involved in community programs and volunteered at the local food pantry on weekends. If there was ever someone you could count on, it was Jeremy. He had dreams too, not flashy ones, but honest ones. He talked about starting a business someday, maybe getting into carpentry or landscaping. He wanted to build something from the ground up, something he could pass down. After graduation, Jeremy wasted no time stepping into adulthood. He took up work as a delivery driver to help his mom with bills, and then later picked up a part-time job doing construction gigs. It wasn't glamorous, but he never complained. He showed up early, worked hard, and stayed late. Coworkers admired his ethics, saying he was the kind of man who did his job with pride. Every paycheck went toward helping his family, paying off bills, and setting aside money for the future. He was working for everyone he loved. It was during this chapter of his life that Jeremy met Khadijah. She was energetic, outspoken, and had a spark that contrasted sharply with Jeremy's calm. The two met through mutual friends, and despite being complete opposites in personality, there was an undeniable chemistry between them. Jeremy, ever the peacemaker, brought stability to her fire, and she, in turn, brought excitement and edge to his steady world. To outsiders, it looked like they balanced each other out. Their relationship moved fast. Within a year, they were living together. Jeremy was proud of their union. He took care of Khadijah, made sure she never lacked anything, and often referred to her as his queen. In casual conversation, friends say he was all in, loyal, attentive, and completely dedicated to making things work. When they disagreed, Jeremy was the one to step back, reflect, and try to find peace. He didn't believe in yelling or fighting. He believed in talking it out, finding a solution, and moving forward. And when the children came, Jeremy's world changed completely. Together they had 4 kids, and Jeremy took to fatherhood with the same quiet strength that had defined his entire life. He helped with homework, made breakfast before work, showed up for school events, and made sure the house was filled with laughter, music, and structure. Even on the days he worked 12 hours straight, he came home and found the energy to be there for his kids, for his partner, for his home. His social media was filled with moments that showed the kind of dad he was. Family dinners, dance recitals, birthdays, and lazy Sunday afternoons spent playing video games or grilling in the backyard. He called his children his purpose. He was the kind of father who gave hugs freely, apologized when he got things wrong, and made sure his kids knew they were loved. But behind the family photos and sweet captions, there were cracks beginning to show. The relationship between Jeremy and Khadijah had its share of struggles. Over time, arguments became more frequent. Those close to Jeremy say he was patient to a fault, always trying to keep the peace, always trying to fix things that were broken. He believed in family, in forgiveness, and in second chances, sometimes at the expense of his own peace. There were whispers of control issues, outside influences, and deepening tension at home. And while Jeremy tried to maintain a strong front for the sake of his children, those who knew him well say they saw the weight he was carrying. The two gained a long, rocky history, with arguments that friends described as heated and sometimes uncomfortable. But Jeremy always tried to de-escalate. He started spending more time with extended family, trying to find balance and clarity. But he never gave up on his family. He held on, hoping things would get better, praying for change, and continuing to show up every single day. But these long-standing domestic issues and tensions led to something far worse. It started with a fight, as usual. It wasn't the first one, but it was going to be the last. On the evening of March 25th, 2023, tensions inside the apartment shared by Jeremy Brown and his longtime girlfriend, Khadijah Michelle Brown, had reached a breaking point. The couple had been arguing throughout the day. Sources close to them say the argument started over something small, but it escalated fast. Accusations flew and doors slammed. Their 4 children were reportedly inside the apartment when things took a turn. Jeremy tried to cool things off, but Khadijah wouldn't let it go. She was constantly accusing him of not spending enough time with the children, with her mother constantly egging her on from behind. But that's not all. Khadijah Brown accused Jeremy Brown of cheating on social media before the murder. In the hours leading up to the tragic incident, she posted disrespectful messages aimed at Jeremy, including claims that he was involved with his employees and shared screenshots of alleged text conversations. However, there is no confirmed evidence that Jeremy was actually cheating. In a moment that still haunts the people who saw it, she opened Facebook and went live. This wasn't new behavior. Khadijah had developed a habit of live streaming arguments or posting emotional outbursts online, but no one could have expected what was about to unfold. Dozens of people tuned into the live stream that evening, expecting the usual verbal back and forth, not realizing they were witnessing the prelude to something irreversible. In the video, Jeremy can be heard in the background calmly trying to exit the situation. He tells her he doesn't want to argue.
He getting his stuff. Look at that. Sad case as a father. Okay, Jeremy, what is the conversation you want to have?
We good.
Yeah, and your baby in the room?
We good. Give me my phone, bro. Don't shut
What is the conversation you want to have?
What the conversation?
Get out my
He said,
phone.
what's the conversation?
Don't touch me. I'll call the police over there. Do not touch me.
He said, what's the conversation y'all want to have?
He tries to grab his things, but Khadijah follows him with the phone, accusing him of trying to leave, of not caring, of cheating. Jeremy continues to insist that he just wants to leave peacefully. His voice is tired but controlled. Then, off camera, there's a single loud bang.
Nah, what's the conversation?
What's
the conversation?
Keep your hands on.
What's the conversation?
Keep your hands on. Don't touch me, bro.
What's the conversation?
Move, bro. I'm trying to get ready for work, man. Go on.
How you getting ready for work?
What is going on? That's all
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm over here doing. Talking about I don't do nothing for the kids. I don't do nothing. I do what I can when I can.
understand.
But like I said, don't keep putting me in situations that's not my problem. And then, like I said, this is your family. You supposed to be here, help and take care of
He ain't
these
straight.
kids.
He want
No, you're not good because you're not here taking care of these kids.
He wanna go call everybody.
Keep your hands on me, bro. Don't touch me again.
Touch you.
Jason, sit down over here. We'll make it easy. Sit down over here. I'm gonna do it just like this. Sit down over here.
Ain't nobody finna come over here and do nothing.
Get your hands on me, bro. Stop touching me. Move.
Need to stop.
Sit down over here, Jason.
Ain't nobody coming over here.
On me, bro. Sit down. Get your hands on me, bro. Stop touching me, bro.
Stop.
Don't touch me.
I'm gonna get you. Murder scene,
Don't
murder.
touch me again.
Stop.
Let go. Touch me. Touch me again.
Ain't
Touch
nobody
me.
get somewhere. Sit down. Y'all gonna have to stop out here. Then y'all wonder why the kids.
People on Facebook could hear Khadijah screaming that she didn't want to go to jail and telling a child in the home that his daddy was dead. Then the screen goes dark and the live stream ends. Viewers flooded the comments section in panic. Many couldn't believe what they had just heard. Some wondered if it was a fake. Others immediately called 911. But just minutes later, it was confirmed that what they had seen was real. At exactly 7:42 a.m. on March 25th, 2023, officers with the Lowndes County Sheriff's Department were dispatched to the Green Tree Apartments after receiving multiple reports of a possible shooting. When deputies arrived at the scene, the apartment was filled with chaos. Children were crying, family members were screaming, and Jeremy Brown was lying motionless on the floor. He had been shot once in the back. Deputies immediately secured the scene. Khadijah was still inside the apartment, visibly shaken, but not resisting. The weapon, a 9mm handgun, was recovered at the scene. Jeremy was pronounced dead where he lay. The bullet had pierced vital organs, and there was nothing paramedics could do. Khadijah was taken into custody that same night. At the station, she didn't deny what had happened. She admitted to grabbing the gun during the argument, but her explanation didn't match the evidence. There were no signs of struggle. Jeremy was unarmed, and according to investigators, he had his back turned when the shot was fired. He was not threatening her. In fact, he was trying to leave. The police were clear. This was not self-defense. Within hours, 28-year-old Khadijah Michelle Brown was officially arrested and charged with murder. The sheriff's office released a statement the following day confirming the fatal shooting and stating that it stemmed from a domestic situation. Sheriff Eddie Hawkins called the incident a senseless and tragic act and emphasized that the investigation had produced clear evidence of intentional harm. Khadijah was booked into the Lowndes County Adult Detention Center and held without bond.
For the first time from the mother of a man killed by his wife on Facebook Live.
That crime happened in Columbus, and it is also there where we found out this afternoon the wife's punishment for that crime.
The courtroom was cold and quiet the morning Khadijah Michelle Brown made her first appearance before a Lowndes County judge. She walked in wearing a standard jail-issued jumpsuit, her face blank, her posture stiff. Gone was the fiery attitude that many had seen on social media. Gone was the voice that shouted over live streams. In its place stood a woman subdued by consequence and the weight of what she had done. Khadijah faced a charge of first-degree murder, a deliberate, intentional act of taking a life. The defense struggled to build sympathy. Khadijah's lawyers hinted at past emotional strain in the relationship, attempted to frame her as overwhelmed, panicked, and not fully in control of her actions. But the prosecution countered that whatever problems existed, they did not justify murder. Emotional instability doesn't erase intent, they argued. Khadijah made the decision to pick up a gun during an argument. She chose to pull the trigger, and she chose to broadcast her anger live, turning a private conflict into a public tragedy. After several hearings and pretrial delays, the case reached its breaking point. Faced with overwhelming evidence and mounting public scrutiny, Khadijah Brown pled guilty to second-degree murder in a deal that removed the possibility of a life sentence but still carried severe consequences. The judge, unmoved by the emotional pleas from the defense, sentenced her to 40 years in prison with no possibility of parole for the first 25. The courtroom fell silent at the sound of the sentence. Khadijah didn't cry. She simply nodded, as if she'd been waiting for this moment and already knew what was coming. The public reaction to the sentence was intense. Some believed justice had been served. Others felt the sentence should have been longer, given the visibility of the crime and the presence of children in the home. But one thing was clear. People were shaken by the rawness of what they had witnessed. It was an open wound that had played out in real time, online, for anyone to scroll past. In the weeks following the sentencing, family and friends turned their focus to Jeremy, honoring him, mourning him, and laying him to rest.
I feel justice has been served. I'm very happy, and just glad it's all over.
Jeremy's funeral was held at a local church in Columbus, Mississippi, not far from where he was born and raised. The sanctuary was packed. People filled every pew, with others standing along the walls and spilling out into the lobby. There were flowers, white, red, and gold, and photos of Jeremy at different stages of his life. His casket was closed. The trauma had been too much. For Jeremy's family, the shock was unbearable. They couldn't believe that a disagreement had led to something this final, that Jeremy, peaceful, loving, dedicated to his kids, had lost his life not in the street, not in some random act of violence, but at home. What made it even more haunting was how preventable it all seemed. Jeremy hadn't been aggressive. He hadn't fought back. He had tried to leave. He did what people are told to do in toxic situations, but walking away wasn't enough. And now a father was gone, a family was shattered, and a community was left asking how an argument turned into a murder broadcast for the world to witness. What do you think about this? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching.